A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English, 'cause it's so much fun. English education for you and everyone, so come along. Learn some grammar, learn a phrase, learn something new every day. Learn the A+ way. Hey, it's time to start the show. Are you ready? Good, 'cause here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I want A+ English.
Hi everyone, welcome to A+ English. I'm Mike.
I'm Clean.
And I don't know how to say hello in ancient Egyptian.
Me either.
I feel like I should, since we're going to be talking about tombs. Okay. Something about tombs and how they take you back to the past. If we could see the title, it would be really easy to read it, but since we can't, we will forge on. So yeah, we're going to Egypt. We're going to see some cool, really old stuff. You can't just say old stuff with Egypt, right? Because it's like some of the oldest stuff in the world. So you have to use other words like really old stuff. Let's have a look at our warm-up question. What do you know about any old cities in the world?
Every time I think of an old city, I think of India.
India is not a city, it's a country.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the country.
Okay.
I think about Bombay.
Mumbai,
yeah, or I think about Peru.
Peru.
Yeah.
Okay, what city in Peru?
I kind of forgot how to say
Chichen Itza? You mean the Incan city up in
the capital. There's
the capital of Peru is, I believe, Quito?
Something like that. I think it's not in English. It's in their language. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, I think it's Quito.
Okay.
I'm not sure, though. And Mumbai, well, actually, I'm not sure Mumbai was that old. I think the British made it into a much bigger city starting about 250 years ago. But of course, when many people think about old cities, they would think about Rome. They might think about Rome. Baghdad in Iraq, which of course was the ancient empire of Babylon, and Cairo in Egypt. It's been a very big city, an important city. Not the most important city in the time of the Egyptians. That probably would have been either Memphis or Thebes, but Cairo is very close to the pyramids. And when people think of really old stuff, the pyramids would definitely pop into their heads. So let's learn more about ancient Egypt and some of the cool stuff from long ago that we can still see now.
Pyramids and tombs. Egypt takes you back to the past. Warm-up question. What do you know about any old cities in the world?
Do you love history? If so, Egypt is a must-visit place. The country has much to see from its ancient past. So, where should you start? One great place might be the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. This big museum has many ancient artifacts in one place. These include some from Tutankhamun's tomb. There's a lot more to teach you about Egypt's past, too. Of course, you must include a trip to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here, you'll also see the Sphinx. The Sphinx guards the pyramids. The Great Pyramid is the largest and is from about 2570 BC. It has around 2.3 million blocks and is 6 million tons.
All right, so our article begins with a question just to kind of get us thinking and get our minds focused on the topic. And that question is, do you love history? Now, you can choose to answer it yes or no, but it doesn't really matter because if you do love history, the article continues, Egypt is a must-visit place. In other words, it's a place you must visit. You gotta go.
Must visit or must go.
Must go.
Yeah.
Must see.
Yeah, 所以你热爱历史吗? Do you love history?
I do.
Okay.
I'm interested in it.
I think you know a lot about history.
If you know about history, you know more about what's going on today and why we're making lots of mistakes that people already made in the past. But yes, Egypt is a place that I have always wanted to visit.
所以如果你很喜欢历史的话呢，埃及就是一个必去的地方哦。那其实我们文章一开始就看到我们的 magic box， 我们今天要讲到复合形容词 must 干嘛？我们刚刚讲 must visit, must see, must go,
must do.
Yeah, so let's check
Must
it out.
try.
Magic Box.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Casey。这个 must 还有 visit 这两个字大家一定都会用，但是呢，中间用连字号 hyphen 连在一起之后的用法，我们今天就要来学学看哦。那大致上呢，我们可以把 must 后面接上动词这样子的复合字用法分成两个大类哦。第一类呢，就是我们今天文章里面看到的，它作为形容词来使用，表示必须什么什么的。像是呢，我们课文看到的 must visit， 表示就是某个地方它是必访的。那我们也可以以此类推造一些其他的字哦，像是 must go 就是必须去的 ，must read 必须读的 ，must eat 必须吃的 ，must do 必须做的，还有 must buy 必须买的，还有 must see 必须看的，等等等等，好多的例子。那它的用法很简单哦，你只要把这些形容词呢放在你想要修饰的那个名词的前面就可以了。那像是呢，台湾有好多景点都很漂亮吧。那如果我想要推荐从外国来的朋友，其中一个我觉得如果你今天时间有限，一定要去的地方哦，那我就可以造以下这个例句：阿里山 is one of the must-go places if you come to Taiwan。如果你来台湾的话呢，阿里山是其中一个必去的地方。那这个句子里面的 must go 放在 places 这个名词的前面做修饰。那 must do 这个用法就是这么的简单哦。那我刚才有说它还有第二种用法哦，其实就是可以直接当做名词来使用。什么意思呢？就拿刚才 must visit 这个字来说，它除了可以作为形容词表示必访的来解释之外，它其实也可以解释成直接当名词来用的必访的那个地方。所以呢 must read 我们也可以以此类推，就是必读的这个东西哦。那 must eat 就变成是必吃的食物了。那我们可以直接把它们放在句子里面用看哦。This book is a must read for students. It teaches useful ways to study. 这本书呢，对学生来说是必读的，因为它教了很多实用的读书方法。那这个句子里面的 must read 它就是名词的用法咯，是不是很简单呢？
All right, so yes, Egypt is a must-see if you're at all interested in history and culture and how the world has changed, and also some cool things from a long time ago. As the article says, the country has much to see from its ancient past. It has a lot of very interesting old artifacts and other things from the ancient past.
那我们来看一下今天第一个单字 ancient, very old. Hey.Ancient 就是有很古老的、古代的意思，所以我们呢今天就是要讲古文明。那古文明的英文就是 ancient civilizations。那如果我们今天是讲古代遗迹呢，那就是 ancient monuments。那所以像今天我们提到的埃及人、古埃及人，其实就是 the ancient Egyptians。古希腊人 the ancient Greeks、the ancient Romans， 这些都是罗马人啊、希腊人，这些古希腊人这些意思。好，那我们再造一个句子。The ancient Greeks had an extensive knowledge of the stars. 那我们再看另外一个 There's an ancient house in this forest. People built it a long time ago. 这个森林里面呢，有一座很古老的房子，人们在好久以前建造了这个房子。所以埃及这个国家呢，有非常很多值得一看的古老历史哦。So like what?
Not just what, but where, because there's so much cool stuff. But a good place to go would, of course, be in the capital city of the country of Egypt. And the article gives us some very good instructions. So where should you start? One great place might be the Egyptian Museum In Cairo.
Cairo.
It's where they have Egyptian stuff. In Cairo, in Egypt. So don't go there expecting to see famous motor cars. Don't go there expecting to see wonderful things from ancient China. It's ancient Egypt stuff.
OK， 所以呢，那么你应该从哪里开始呢？如果去开罗的如果去埃及的话，我把答案讲出来了。一个很棒的地方就是开罗的埃及博物馆。
As it says, this big museum has many ancient artifacts in one place. So you could travel around the country, go to different places, but if you have a limited time, and if you want to see some of the best stuff all in one place, this is the place to go for these ancient artifacts.
所以这边的 artifact 指的就是具有历史意义的文物。所以这一个埃及博物馆，这个大博物馆在一个地方，它是有许多古代的文物可以看的。
And even if you're not a big fan or know a lot about ancient Egypt or anything, this museum will have some stuff you've probably seen before on TV or in National Geographic magazine. As the article says, these include some from Tutankhamun's tomb, the famous boy king from long ago whose tomb was found a little more than 100 years ago, I believe, in that famous coffin, the famous sarcophagus with the sort of golden mask with the blue and the beard and, you know, that. You look at that, you think ancient Egypt, you'll see stuff from that tomb inside the museum.
所以呢，这边有一个 tomb 这一个字，大家注意一下发音哦。We don't pronounce the B sound at the end. 我们是 tomb， 不可以 tomb. We don't do that. Tomb.
Like T-O-O-M. That's kind of how it sounds, tomb, like room or something, but a tomb.
所以其中它里面博物馆你可以看到什么？你可以看到图坦卡门墓中的一些文物。Interesting.
It's a long name, so sometimes we just call him King Tut.
Okay.
Just T-U-T, Tut. And it says there's a lot more to teach you about Egypt's past too. Of course, Tutankhamun might be one of the most famous kings or pharaohs of Egypt, but he was a very young man. I think he died in his early 20s. And of course, there's people like Ramses II or Amenhotep who are much more famous in the history of Egypt. And so you can learn all about that stuff. Nefertiti and Cleopatra and all sorts of good stuff at the museum.
好，那我们今天第二个单词就是 teach， 我们还可以学更多有关埃及的过去。那我们就进到今天的第二个单词喽。Teach 就是教导或者是教育的意思。那大家注意一下，它的三态是 teach, taught, taught。所以呢，我们要教一个人做什么事情，教导某一个人去做什么。To teach someone to do something。比如说，谁教你开车的？Who taught you how to drive？ 或 Who taught you to drive？那我们口语上呢，在美式英文里面的口语，通常如果在学校教书，我们都可以直接说 teach school。所以比如说 His mom used to teach school， 他妈妈以前呢是在学校当老师的意思。那我们再看另外一个句子 ，My trip to the U.S. taught me a lot about different cultures。我去美国的旅游教了我很多有关不同文化的事情。所以关于埃及的过去呢，还有很多东西是我们可以学习的哦。
That's right. Now, of course, this museum is big. It's filled with great stuff, but it's not big enough to include a pyramid inside the museum. That would be a crazy building. So you still have to go a little bit away. I think Giza is not far from Cairo.
Yeah.
So you can definitely do it in a day. And it says, of course, you must include a trip to the Great Pyramid of Giza. There are 3 pyramids actually there, the Great Pyramid being the largest, and right in front we also have another friend who we'll meet later.
OK。所以当然啦，除了这一个埃及博物馆，我们还可以去哪呢？还可以去吉萨大金字塔，这个应该是大家最知道的吧
Yeah, the Great Pyramid, amazing. I read somewhere recently, I'm not sure this is entirely true, but until they built the Eiffel Tower in the 1880s, the Great Pyramid was the tallest building made by people for that whole time.
I didn't know
For
that.
like thousands of years. So it's really, really big, obviously. And you definitely want to see that. Maybe even take a camel ride. You can get a little camel tour. And as I said, right in front of the 3 pyramids, you'll also see a famous friend. Here, you'll also see the Sphinx. That sculpture of the lion with the human head. That's also right there, right by the Great Pyramids.
Right， 所以呢，我们如果到这个金字塔，你可以看到大家都知道的狮身人面像。
Now, it might look like a giant pile of rocks to you, but the Sphinx guards the pyramids. That's right. So don't try to steal anything, or that giant lion with a person's head will jump on you. I guess that's the idea.
Guard.
Yeah.
所以 guard 这个字在那边是当动词，它是有守卫的意思。那我们再来看更多它的不同用法。So 我们刚刚讲啦 guard 这个字在这里是当动作嘛，它就是有保护或守卫的意思，所以它当名词也可以哦。当名词我们如果说 security guard， 它其实就是一个保全或保安的意思。那么当名词我们还有另外一个片语叫做 be under guard， 就是代表什么东西呢？是处于武装人员的守护之下或守卫之下。比如说 The man was arrested and is now under guard in the station， 就是呢该男子呢已经被捕，那目前是在警局收到看守的意思。那我们再看另外一个句子，我们把它当成动词，我们再试试看。These dogs are sitting in front of the door to guard the house。为了保护这个房子呢，这几只狗是坐在门口的。所以这个狮身人面像哦，它不是坐在那边而已哦，它其实是守卫的这个 pyramid。
And as we mentioned, there are three, but the biggest, it says the Great Pyramid is the largest and is from about 2570 BC or 2570 BC. So yeah, it's about 5,000 years old.
好可怕
crazy.
Ancient， 所以呢，西元年份呢，我们来看一下它的表示方式。其实 BC 这边就是西元前哦，那如果是 AD 的话，就是西元后。所以文章的意思是说 ，The Great Pyramid， 它这个大金字塔，它是最大。老师刚刚其实有提到，那它是建于什么时候呢？它是建于公元前2570年，非常非常的久。
Yeah, that's right. BC and AD is actually kind of an older way, I think, of saying it. Sometimes now in more modern history books, you'll see BCE, before Common Era, and CE, Common Era. So that would be the same as BC and AD, but they've changed it a little bit to make it easier for people to understand. Back to the article, it says, talking about the Great Pyramid, it has around 2.3 million blocks and is 6 million tons. I'm glad that they said around 2.3 million blocks because I would be really sad if someone actually counted them all. So that's just kind of a guess. Around that many blocks because 2.3 million, it's a lot.
Yeah, 所以呢 million 超多的，就是百万的意思。那我们再来看一下我们可以怎么使用它这个字。Million 就是百万的意思，这非常多，所以其实你把它想成百万很多嘛。我们在说一个东西大量，我们就可以说 a million of something or millions of something， 代表 a large number of something， 非常大量的东西。比如说这个笑话我已经听大概100万次了吧，所以就是 I've heard that joke a million times， 我已经听这一个笑话100万次了，代表太多次了。好，那我们再看另外一个句子。Over 2.6 million people are living in Taipei City. 所以有超过260万人居住在台北市。
So 2.3 million blocks weighing about 6 million tons. Makes me wonder, how much do you think the Taipei 101 building weighs?
Oh.
Which one would be heavier?
I think Taipei 101 is heavier.
Maybe, but I have no idea. That would be an interesting thing to find out. But still, we're obviously here talking about really big numbers.
所以呢，数字其实我们刚刚看到 million， 我们就可以说什么 hundreds of, thousands of, millions of,
billions of,
对，更多
trillions of，
再一直往上去了，兆了再上去。所以这边老师刚刚讲到 block， 其实 block 在这边指的就是砖头，或者是，可是有时候可以当街区啦 ，like it can go straight for 2 blocks。
Not that kind of block.
对，但是不是那种 block， 一个是大的，一个是大的，一个是那种 like brick。
Bricks?
Yeah,
or even like a little dice when you play, play a game. That kind of
小砖头，所以有砖头跟街区，不要搞混。然后还有当动词的话就是阻挡 ，like you're blocking my view, or I'm gonna block you if you keep harassing me.
No, I didn't want to block your view of the blocks. You'd be a block blocker.
Yeah,
I don't want to be that.
所以呢，另外我说的 ton 这个字是公吨，它就是一个单位一个 unit。所以呢，文章说呢，这个大概有230万个砖块耶，这么多砖块，那大概是600万吨左右。
All right, time for a quick review, and then we'll be done for today.
Review time.
All right, so for our little review time here, we're going to look at the words we learned today and play a game to just remind ourselves of them. So the words we learned, ancient, teach, guard, and million. Those are our 4 words. So today we're going to play opposites.
Okay.
So I will give you a definition or some words that mean the opposite of one of the words from our list for today. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Are you ready to do the opposite of learn?
Learn. Opposites of learn.
Opposite of learn. If I'm learning...
Oh, I'm learning, that means you're teaching me
Someone's
something.
teaching. Exactly. If you're teaching, you know stuff and you're telling other people. If you're learning, you don't know anything. And you're like, give me information. Okay, something opposite... okay, here's one. Well, we talked about 2 buildings, Taipei 101 and the Great Pyramids, right? One of those buildings is very modern. The other
modern is very ancient.
Ancient, exactly. Taipei 101 was built, 15 years ago? It's got electricity and elevators and air conditioning. I don't think the Great Pyramid has air conditioning. It's probably pretty cold and wet inside or something like that. Okay, and the next one, this is a tricky one. How about run away?
Run away.
Yeah,
Okay.
run away.
If you run away, that means you don't want to guard something.
Kind of, yeah.
You just leave that place.
If I'm protecting something, I will guard it. If I'm like, I'm out of here, I'm running away, I'm not guarding that thing, you can have it. So there you go. I think we're out of time though, so we have one more day to look at ancient Egypt coming up, and it'll be great, so please do come back and join us for that. Until then,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye in ancient Egyptian, which I still don't know how to say.
Pyramids and tombs. Egypt takes you back to the past. Warm-up question. What do you know about any old cities in the world?
Do you love history? If so, Egypt is a must-visit place. The country has much to see from its ancient past. So, where should you start? One great place might be the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. This big museum has many ancient artifacts in one place. These include some from Tutankhamun's tomb. There's a lot more to teach you about Egypt's past, too. Of course, you must include a trip to the Great Pyramid of Giza. Here, you'll also see the Sphinx. The Sphinx guards the pyramids. The Great Pyramid is the largest and is from about 2570 BC. It has around 2.3 million blocks and is 6 million tons. Word power.
Ancient. Ancient. There's an ancient house in this forest. People built it a long time ago. There's an ancient house in this forest. People built it a long time ago. Teach. Teach. Teach, taught, taught. My trip to the U.S. taught me a lot about different cultures. My trip to the U.S. taught me a lot about different cultures. Guard. Guard. These dogs are sitting in front of the door to guard the house. These dogs are sitting in front of the door to guard the house. Million. Million. Over 2.6 million people are living in Taipei City. Over 2.6 million people are living in Taipei City.
认识字汇
Artifact. Artifact. Tomb. Tomb. Ton. ton.